Yo gamers, welcome back to round 10. Only one of these players will make it out. They are both 7-2, needing to win to make it to the final bracket. It's Graham Sandwich versus Sheik. And speaking of Sheik, I've got another one of my buddies from the Melee community who actually mains Sheik in Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. Berk, how's it going, man?
Hey, Zats. It's going pretty well. I'm excited to see the Sheik player win. It's really important to me.
True. Yeah, not enough Sheik players are doing it anymore at the highest of high levels. I know we're rooting for J-Mook this weekend at the Nouns Invitational. I think that's happening. But for now, let's dive into game one. I don't know much about either player, but Graham Sandwich with a Doug lead. That's kind of like ABR-esque. And that'll completely eliminate the T-Tar.
Not EV to live it.
Yeah, this Doug lead meta it's real. ABR mentioned recently that he thinks that this is going to change the lead meta, get people to think about it in a new way. And maybe Graham even has some weather clear to benefit, a Pokemon like Milo that would love to chip heal without sand.
They have the zap to answer the lead Doug, I guess, later.
Yeah, I can always get
Great
in there.
toxic.
That is hugely helpful. On a team like this, if it's Doug, Scarm, Milo, this could always be refresh Claydol. If it wants to be able to stick around for a longer period of time. There could be Aroma Bliss in the back. So nice to have Toxic, but it's possible that Graham has an answer for this. He's taking a lot of chip to get through these spikes, though, so he's likely to have to get out. Sheik's going to try to get ahead. And
Okay, that wasn't good. Double switch.
There is a Blissey in the back, and there's the Aroma Bliss. This looks a lot like the kind of structures that ABR has been seeing a lot of success with lately, which makes sense because he's won the Gymvitational and has been doing very well. So
Doesn't really look like there's a physical threat to answer this Blissey yet.
Not yet. I mean, it could have been the Tar, right? We never got to see it click a button, but you would never want to expect Tar to be the only answer, so there has to be something else in the back. Very standard TSS structure for Sheik so far, for sure. And the Scarm is just going to want to try to apply some more pressure.
I'm a big fan of this Milo Doll core. It's always very good. It's always very solid.
Yeah, it's tough to break through. Oh, and Drill Peck Scarm is actually really nice to continue pressuring the Claydol. It's no longer toxic, of course, but its longevity isn't looking great. I mean, I don't suppose that this could ever be like Wish Blissey or something to provide even further support.
We've only seen what? Seismic Toss or Aromatherapy?
And toxic.
Oh, toxic.
So
and toxic.
it's gotta be soft boiled last, right?
They can take a drill pack. They can get one more rapid spin in, but
Actually just gonna go to the own Scarm for very little damage, and they're gonna chip heal that up immediately as well. Protecting on the Roar, sure. Just get a little bit more chip heal while you're here. Oh, and taunt Scarm. Okay, so Sheik Scarm is it's speed crept. And they're just pecking each other. Wow, we could be here a while. A moment ago, you were
surprised they didn't want to try to force them to budge by roaring out with the triple spikes there.
And here we finally do see the Roar roaring into Doug, and these spikes are a great way to try to deal with Doug. And it's Screech Doug.
Screech.
That's insane. Drill Peck doing an insane amount, by the way. 61%. Doug is, we know it's frail, but I didn't know it was that frail.
Armory in to win the drill peck fight. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, Scarm will always be pretty safe to come in on Scarm. I mean, they can't really do much to one another. Even YOLO Scarm, you got HP Ground, doesn't do anything. And taunting, but just getting Seismic Toss down. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Graham doesn't seem to have anything that can like directly threaten this Scarm. Like the Blissey doesn't have Thunderbolts. And the Doug is just, it's dead to
that's
spikes.
So huge.
Yeah. And the Claydol is a resource that is almost spent up as well. But it's Rest Claydol. That's actually huge. And that makes so much sense with the Aromatherapy Blissey as well.
Especially if you don't have Wish support, you need your Mons to be able to support themselves a little bit. Milo probably has recovered too.
Exactly. And I'm trying to think what usually is in the back for a structure like this. It's often like just a win con, like Suicune, just trying to outlast enough of the threats on the other side. You got your spikes, and eventually you can just call mind and win.
Could it be a DD sweeper?
It's a good question. I suspect we'll find out at some point. I just don't know when that's going to be. Do you think, are we at the point where we move the speed up to fast? Is that where we are already?
Maybe. If they're going to be playing like this.
The Zap gets to click a button. Blissey comes in on 2 spikes. It hasn't clicked soft-boiled yet, but you imagine it almost always will be doing that right now. And Skarma's going to be able to get another spike if it wants. It'll get Seismic Toss down. And it doesn't have Protect, actually, so it's not great at chip healing back that kind of damage.
Okay, Blissey can take another Seismic Toss, but...
It just hit 16, yeah. And there's an opportunity for the Claydol to try to come in. Could get Toxic, but of course we know it's rest.
What have we seen on Claydol?
Just Rapid Spin Rest. Oh, crit Ice Beam! Whoa. You at least got your Rapid Spin. But that's very unfortunate. The structure starting to crumble a bit on Graham's side.
Chip heal. I can only get, what, 2 spikes here?
Wow. Barely living that. That's enormous.
Second spike is not very good, though. I don't know if it's worth just losing the whole Skarm.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been hard to get it to chip heal back up without Protect that much. It's been Flygon in the back, and it has been Superman all along. It's actually Dusclops as a spin blocker in the back all along, and you hate to bring that versus Superman.
That's also a rest Pokemon for Aromatherapy, probably.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very difficult. The Skarm is gone. Your Spinner is gone, though. There's these 2 spikes. Everything but the Skarm is going to be taking chunks. The Bliss can always answer the Zapdos. What kind of Flygon is this? It just clicked Toxic so far. So probably not any crazy Choice Band set. Looking a bit more passive. I am going to speed this one up. I feel that...
Yeah.
We're in an extended end game. I feel like the mid game has concluded, and it's mostly, I think it's on Sheik to find a way to convert this.
I have to get rid of that Skarm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blissey can always come in. And see, going Flygon to try to get ahead of the Blissey. And I guess Drill Peck, I mean...
He's just clicking a move.
And this isn't Rest Zapdos, so it's never going to be able to get any health back. Wow, crit Earthquake.
It crits and it still doesn't kill.
Yeah, not quite enough. That's unfortunate. Because if crit is hardly outpacing the soft boiled, this is not a viable solution to get through. And your Flygon is toxic.
Yeah, this is a bad situation.
Yeah, maybe Graham actually has a way through. There is an arrow in the back. Yeah. So that will be a much better way to try to break through this Bliss. And all the Bliss has is Toxic.
They took this long to bring it out.
No Toxic on the Skarm, though. The Skarm can really do nothing. It's just trying to chip heal a bit. And we're going to likely sack the Dusclops. It'll survive. It can... Yeah. You try to hope for a Rock Slide miss. Click Will-O-Wisp. And it's Milo's turn to try to do something. If it has Ice Beam, that'd be huge against this Flygon. You could also just stall it. Yeah, it's gonna be refresh on a team with this kind of pace.
Can I see what do we know about Melodic's moves?
So far, Surf, Recover, Refresh. I would expect Toxic last. You imagine they might have found an opportunity to click Ice Beam up to this point, but they're happy to just recover. Yeah. Even, again, crit Earthquake is only doing 54%. It's just... The Flygon isn't able to provide any offensive pressure against a team that's this bulky.
Surf can kill the Zapdos, too. Oh,
goes for Toxic instead. Okay. And, okay, so the Milo, it's going to be able to... How much does it take from 2 spikes?
That's good. 2 spikes is 16%?
Yeah, plus I think that's about right, like 16 or 17. So I think it might be able to just live after sand. So it needs to come in on the Blissey. That's the only thing that it can outpace and recover.
Arrow is very well positioned here, though.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sack the Milo. Slow it down here. This could be meaningful. The Blissey won't die here. Doesn't get flinched. Okay, I'm just gonna soft boiled up.
A single flinch and it's over.
If it gets through and gets a Toxic out, there it is. Okay, now you go to your Scarm and you have Protect on the Scarm. And the Flygon is also Toxic and hella low. I guess the question is, what can beat enemy Blissey at 85%? I guess Toxic stalling it is a viable option. It has Ice Beam, though. Could have Thunderbolt, which would win the 1v1 versus Scarm. I think I still like Sheik's position because I don't think there's a way to get through such a healthy Blissey.
Oh, they went for the double Protect on the turn. Flygon is going to die from Toxic, I think, right?
Yep. Yeah, they heal back up to 55. Arrow comes in. Clicks Rock Slide. Doesn't want to go for the triple Protect. Makes sense. Crit!
Oh,
Trill Peck!
Crit! Enormous crit!
Whoa! That was crazy. And Blissey's coming in on a ton of spikes. On the Protect turn, sure. But again, I think this is likely to have Thunderbolt. Opposing Blissey comes in. It's Flamethrower just as good in this situation. And the opposing Blissey healed with leftovers first.
Oh!
Toxic. Yeah,
Huge
sure.
Toxic miss.
Good positioning and maneuvering from Graham to find an opportunity to heal this Blissey up. And maybe this is anybody's game. They both have Toxic. So
She's
Graham
shown Flamethrower, so it's pretty risky to just throw the Scarm in.
It's really tough. Clicking Aromatherapy to heal your own Toxic. That's actually huge because this one can stay in indefinitely and eventually force the opposing Blissey out. This Graham's Blissey just wins the 1v1 straight up. Still 6 more Aromas. And the other thing is when you're Toxic, you can't even be frozen. So that eliminates an out on some of these turns. But if I were Sheik, I would be clicking Ice Beam here and trying to force the Scarm in. Gonna click Toxic. I mean, you could try to eliminate the Aromas, but there's 5 more and you're Toxic. So I feel like Freeze is kind of your only out, and
Yeah,
he's
it's
actually going to go to the Arrow.
6.
And the Arrow's only going to have...
Arrow can
What?
live another Toxic after this one.
And Skarma's going to come in here and just die to the Rock Slide. That's interesting.
Crit Rock Slide or Rock Slide flinch into Blissey doing something really big.
I think it has to be crit. And it doesn't get the flinch or the crit. And yeah, Graham just wins the 1v1. He lands a single Toxic, clicks Aroma, clicks Soft Boiled, and that should be the game. Wow, I was wrong. All along, it was Graham's Blissey that was going to be able to take down Sheik's. And yeah, Sheik forfeits with honor. That was a bit of a long one, 98 turns, but surprisingly interesting endgame there, I thought.
It was really well maneuvered by Graham Sandwich.
Yeah, good stuff to them. Now 1 game away from making it to bracket. Sheik needing to win 2 straight. T-Tar dual lead, and they both pivot into their Scarm immediately.
Okay, that says a perhaps these are both physical tars.
Oh my gosh, this is insane. They're like doing such similar moves. The Moltres won't be able to stay in on the Zapdos. No Baton Pass, just clicking T-Bolt, trying to get some damage. Graham bringing Blissey once again. This time, Sheik brought a Claydol. Try to deal with these spikes. But the Moltres could suggest Superman for Graham. So we could see 2 additional Levitating Mons in the back. And maybe the plan for him is just to try to ignore spikes as much as possible.
Now, what kind of Jirachi is this? We're about to find out.
Okay, trying to get the Body Slam para. Pretty standard so far. Yeah, really wanting to force the Blissey out. Unable to get either para, though. You're chip healing in the sand, but Seismic Toss did 25%. Okay, finally lands the para. And maybe you just click Wish here.
It's doing exactly 25? Okay.
Yeah, interesting, right? So maybe that suggests this wouldn't have sub because it doesn't have the HP investment.
Yeah.
It's a good observation.
But it still has a fair amount of HP investment.
And of course, just Wish Protect. This Blissey is not very pressured, though. And eventually Sheik's like, all right, I'm going to go to my own Scarm. Take a Seismic Toss, try to get some more spikes. Even if it is Superman, you do like to get the third layer for Blissey and T-Tar. And I suppose it doesn't have to be. It could just be, you know, Big 5 Molt, TSS Molt from this position. And nice heads-up maneuver to get the Moltres in on the Jirachi. Something's going to have to come in and take something. And Jirachi boldly staying in. Trying to get the crit, and the para happens too. So that pays off.
If it's Aroma Bliss, maybe not worth losing all the health on Jirachi, but you don't know that.
Interesting.
Can't know that.
Yeah, we did just see the Aroma Bliss. It's soft-boiled Toxic Seismic Toss. It could be Aroma. Not sure what else would be in the bag for a Blissey like this. Because there could really be anything. It could be freaking counter. I saw Snatch Blissey on a earlier video. It was 1v1ing an opposing Blissey and stealing its soft-boiled. Never seen that before.
That's wild. Okay.
This does look like Superman. And it is a Pursuit Tar, which is unlikely to find a spin blocker to Pursuit on a Superman team. Sheik just taking the spikes anyway. Not much else the Scarm can really do. And there's the Flygon.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. That's the 4 flyers.
Yeah. So at least you're going to get the maximum pressure whenever Blissey and T-Tar come in. And yeah, I think for Sheik, it's going to be about finding ways to continue to pressure this Blissey. If you can get through, all of a sudden, like, you know, your Zapdos. Rachi, I mean, maybe it has Fire Punch. So I guess mostly the Zapdos is a special threat being... You also have Pursuit Tar. So they both benefit from the Blissey potentially losing its life.
It could be Superman again from Sheik also.
Yeah.
The 2 Pokemon we've seen are Spike's vulnerable.
True. They are running Spin on the Claydol. So I guess that would... I would more highly suspect that there's another grounded Mon here, but... I mean, maybe it's Superman and you have the Spin support as well to help the Rachi.
It's soft-boiled Blissey. Okay.
Yeah. And that's super helpful. But no Aroma, so the body slam on this Moltres from before ends up being quite valuable. And the Rachi is already healed all the way back up from having taken that flamethrower earlier in this one. Molt gonna get out of the way on a Pursuit Tar. I guess it could always... It's lead Tar, right? So it could still have Rock Slide. And he scouts out that it didn't opt to click it there. Now revealing Ice Beam.
That looks like 4 special moves.
Yeah. Could just be Pursuit as well. But I mean, you really just never know. And that's a big part of the appeal of a Mon like T-Tar, right?
Can do a whole lot of things. They get the spin.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I guess with like the Wish Protect Body Slam trying to spread paralysis, I would expect the Claydol in many cases to have something like Refresh or Rest with Aroma support elsewhere.
So far from both of these teams, we've seen not a whole lot of answers to Blissey.
Yeah.
From Sheik, I mean.
Oh, pursuing the retreating Zapdos. That's a nice 40%. And yeah, I agree. I'm looking around. Spikes are one thing. Claydol can always explode, but this is Special Tar, right? And a pretty passive Jirachi set. So I would whatever's in the back has to be something meant to pressure Blissey.
Especially be arrow.
Could be an arrow. I mean, I guess it could be Doug. Could be really biding your time and trying to find the perfect moment to trap this thing. But I mean, we saw Graham bring a Blissey last game. So it'd be kind of crazy to like hard call out that they're simply not bringing it. I'm sure we'll find out soon. Another Toxic. Well, once they get wished up here, everything is relatively healthy. The T-Tar's at lowest at 75, and it will be the T-Tar receiving a wish. Makes sense too. It's one of the only other mons that has to actually step on these spikes. And could threaten Fire Blast here. Oh, we're going to actually just get the molt in on a Toxic click.
Very smart.
So now what? Nothing loves taking a Flamethrower. Oh, full para. Unfortunate. And is Claydol just going to click like Refresh or Rapid Spin here?
Have we
Oh, it's
seen
Rock
its full
Slide
moveset?
Claydol. We have it, but it reveals Rock Slide. Interesting. Attack invested. Maybe it also has Boom. Roar revealed from this Skarm. They both have it. And Bliss just comes in here most of the time. You can protect Chip Heal and try to scout out some more.
Drill Peck.
It clicked it once earlier. I think it hit the Blissey with the Drill Peck. And Sheik Zap is representing faster by leftovers. This is a soft boil turn, right? So like what do you do in this spot? Like how do you... It's Breloom in the back. Whoa.
Ooh, there we go.
Yep. Okay, you're in front of the Blissey. It's likely to leave, but you can spore something. But I guess you can't spore Molt. Wow. Good decision. And that's gonna... I mean, you still outspeed it.
The Grandma's dodged by switching in the Molt.
Yeah, it's... Interestingly, and Toxicking this Pursuitar, that's quite nice. It's taking, pressure from these spikes. And a lot of pursuits happening on mons that the Pursuitars aren't exactly designed to trap.
Whole lot of switching.
Do we go to Breloom again here? No, just go to Claydol, try to find an opportunity to spin these spikes away. Which happens. Wish Bliss. And the Molt is...
Rock Slide would devastate the Molt if it came in.
And just decides to go Zapdos, still risking Rock Slide. I don't know that it would have killed. But the Zap is fully healthy.
Claydol, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, and this... Neither of these mons can really pressure the other. Blissey has Seismic Toss. Rachi has Body Slam. Unlikely for a ton of progress to be made on either side. T-Tar can't get burned at least. But I guess Pursuitar, you don't love being burned, but it's not as bad as if you're physical. And continuing to... Oh my god, crit Pursuit. Crit. That's insane.
That is dead to...
It's dead to sand. Yeah, next time it wants to... Well, unless it can safely receive a wish. But Sheik is going to have to play around that. You know that's the only out for this Molt to stay in the game. And if you can take down this Molt, what are the implications of that? The Breloom is a lot less threatened. Flygon is going to come in as a sleep sack here. It hasn't really taken the stage much. I guess, yeah, there's no, like, big rock threat, like a physical tar and arrow.
Do we know all the Zapdos' moves? Does it know Drill Peck?
It hasn't clicked a button. It finally clicks Roar. First time it's clicked something.
I feel like I don't see Roar and Drill Peck on the same saddle that often.
Yeah, Drill Peck would have been crazy. Okay, Sheik with the Wish. Gonna try to heal up this T-Tar. Lot of value while this Flygon sleeps. And yeah, just clicking Pursuit at all the right moments in this set. So Blissey can click Wish, and then you can choose to not go to Molt. Does click Wish. You can't do it, right? Because they're clicking Body Slam to deny it every time. Goes to Flygon. That makes so much sense. You can't get parried. You still get a huge Wish. And I'm telling you, at some point, this game is going to come down to whether Graham can win that 50-50 and heal up this Molt. But if I'm Sheik, I'm denying it every time and trying to find another way through. Okay, crit Thunderbolt.
Big crit.
Yeah, the Jirachi's gonna get to protect here. So what does Graham do? Stay in? Do you have a baton pass? No, just click Roar. At least denying something else from switching in. But I guess the Claydol's at 50% and Toxicked. So that was a decent roar to deny that. And we're going to speed this one up as well, folks.
This one is certainly going longer than the first one.
Surely the game is going to go places at some point. Zap comes in. HP revealed. That's HP Grass in all likelihood. No Swampert from either player this set so far. Flygon's been asleep for a minute. Finally wakes up and clicks Rock Slide. Not doing a ton to Skarm. Graham reestablishing some spikes here. And yeah, honestly, I think Sheik's Skarm is happy to come in on that Flygon every time. Chip healing twice, and it's basically back to full health. Oh, the Molt comes in off the roar. Yeah, that was another out for Sheik. And that was there all along. So Graham had a bit of pressure to try to find a way to wish up that Molt before getting roared in. Wasn't able to do it. Crit Drill Peck. Now stuff is starting to happen, and I think Sheik is going to find an easier time trying to push through and break some of these Mon.
It's good that the Molt's gone for Sheik, but there was a whole lot of turns passing by where the Molt was not showing its face and not a lot of progress was being made either.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, taking that body slam earlier in the face of the flamethrower, taking all that damage, knowing I can Wish Protect later, 60% of the time I'm putting this in a spot where I can kill it. That was a favorable trade for Sheik, and Graham was willing to take it. You know, they could have gone to Blissey and soaked the status there. So I think that was honestly the pivotal moment that led to, you know, 100 turns later, Sheik having the advantage.
You gotta admire two players who are both ready to go long every time.
Yeah, man. Like I'm not built this way. Like, you know, Jimothy and, you know, our buddy Apon always talks about, like, you know, like the V5, V6 teams. He loves this stuff. He loves stalling out, PP wars, just staying alive longer than the opponent type stuff.
Now Breloom is looking okay. Never mind.
Yeah, but it knows it's Drill Peck Skarm. Clicking Drill Peck in front of the Skarm. Wow. That was crazy. Sheik really suspecting that Blissey would come in there. And Graham just staying in boldly with Skarm, and that he needs to make plays like that. He's got to get a lot of unfavorable 50-50s correct many times to, I mean, the Zapdos is at 26%. But those are the kind of call outs that they'll need to bring it back from such a position, I fear. Just getting some more spikes. Flygon coming in critical. I feel like we've seen so many crit Drill Pecks.
Yeah.
For some reason in this. I mean, I guess when we go to, you know, 220 some turns across 2 games, you get a lot of reps in. That's the 8th Drill Peck that Zapdos has managed to click. And Fire Punch finally revealed.
If they can get a burn on this Skarm, that will be so good.
It's completely over. I'm kind of surprised it's taken Sheik this long to just get the Jirachi in a position to click Fire Punch. Goes for Body Slam there, does a bit more to the Blissey, and this full para, that could be very scary.
Read out for full para, maybe?
Crit just gets there. That's it. And with no Blissey,
that's probably the game.
Yeah. That is, in all likelihood, the game.
The Zapdos is about to go beast mode, I think.
Yeah, not a lot is going to want to... The Flygon walls it because it is HP Grass Drill Peck. But there is Ice Beam T-Tar that's fairly healthy to try to take that on at some point. Just blowing up on opposing Zap. Sure, yeah, just trade down at this point, and that's a GG. Yeah. GG from Graham. All right, man, let's dive into Game 3. We'll see if it's going to be a similar pace. We see Metagross. Okay, some offense. Lead Metagross clicking Rock Slide. Not wanting to go for the Houdini explosion. Afraid of that sub in all likelihood. And maybe it's Choice Band Rock Slide. Not sure what such a roll looks like against opposing meta, but just opting to click it twice.
It's a good double switch.
Looks like a much more offensive structure, at least so far from Sheik. And both of these players bringing meta for the first time. Avoiding the para there.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of... Sorry about that.
Got the attack raise.
Wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of weather clear on Sheik's side.
Yeah, and no tar from either player yet. Okay, Starmie in the back. What kind of Starmie? Hydro Pump offensive leaning Starmie. Can either cell be set up on the other? No, just baton passing to a Doug, which should be able to HP bug. Gets out sped. What?
That's looking like a bulky Doug.
I'm shocked. I've never seen it get outsped by a base 100 Mon like Celebi. Its whole thing is that it outspeeds that speed tier.
The bulky Dougs don't usually run.
Oh, subbing on the explosion.
Maybe they do. Yeah.
This is crazy. Yeah, the hair's got to get out though. It's gonna get outsped by the zap, and it can't live a Thunderbolt from 50. But it can sub later down to the berry, and it doesn't look like Graham, like you said, it doesn't look like they brought T-Tar. Sheik could still have weather clear as well, even if there is a tar in the back. And Lax can live another one here. Opts to rest. Might have been able to squeeze in another curse, but didn't want to risk it. Didn't want to risk a crit or an unfavorable roll. Also, like at some point, if you get enough curses on Lax, it can be outsped by some paralyzed Pokemon. It's insane how having its speed is less than quartering other Pokemon speed. But I've seen it
Shadow
happen.
Ball not doing all that much.
Yeah, +1 Shadow Ball, 42%. That's a bulky Celebi.
Ooh, that Snorlax is probably beating this Kingdra.
Yes, yes it is. Wow. And can Doug do 63%?
No shot.
No, it cannot. And this one doesn't look like it's going to 100 turns. It might not even make 30 turns. Offensive Starmie doesn't get there, and it's just rests. I was wondering, do you just blow up? You're so ahead, but you don't even need to. Absolutely no need. The Hydro Pump, crit helps quite a bit. But you're chip healing and just resting. Yeah, and there's only 3 pumps left. Wow. Yeah, Graham is completely out of steam.
I feel like you have to, if you're going Bolt Beam Pump Spin, which this probably is, you need to fish for an Ice Beam Freeze on the one turn that Snorlax is not resting.
Yeah, and they do go for the Ice Beam here. Don't get the freeze. And I don't think, there's no way. Graham forfeits. And Sheik does it from Super Smash Bros. Melee. Making it to the final bracket of ADV Revival 2. Congratulations. And very well played. They put Snorlax into a really good position. I'm still very interested in this Doug, right? Like, well, I guess the Lax had curse boosts at the time that earthquake happened, but I thought there might have even been a chance, since it's so slow, maybe it was Adamant Doug, which also, keep in mind, the HP bug killed the Celebi from 100%, which I don't think always happens.
It'll typically do that, because you have the 4X. It's probably, if I had to guess, HP bug, Aerial Ace, beat up Earthquake, because they led Zap.
Yeah.
So that looks like a special offense.
Yeah, baton pass to
the
Doug. Yeah, of course, you got the Kingdra in the back as well. You got meta to try to blow up on something. But remember, it blew up on the sub from Heracross. So that was huge, and Graham lost... While trying to deal with the Heracross, he lost one of the only Mon remaining that could have ever tried to handle the Snorlax. So Sheik in a good position. Favorable matchup, but played it well. Put on a lot of pressure and found a way through.
I feel like they might have a Kingdra on the back of their team. It looks like they're running Rain
This is insane in the chat, by the way.
Oh, public enemy number 1.
And Sheik just saying, okay. Like, I don't even know what to say to that, bro. I mean, maybe they're friends. I don't know exactly what kind of reference this is. I would imagine he's talking about Snorlax rather than Sheik the player, but we may never know, folks. Thanks for tuning in to a longer one today. This was fun. Always cool to just chill and watch 250 some turns of ADV OU. But Berk, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it. Love to have you on again, bro.
Me. This was a lot of fun.
We'll sign off. We'll see you guys next time.